Welcome everybody to NAB Stadium here in Auchenflower as the Brisbane Capitals host the Gold Coast Rollers in men's QBL action. Guys, this is going to be a big game for the opening night as the Gold Coast Rollers feature, and I'm going to call it right now, the best player in the QBL, Torrey Craig.
No doubt it's going to be a great game. Torrey Craig, I think anyone who likes basketball in Queensland or in Australia really is going to be excited to watch him play in the QBL, coming off what he did for the Bullets in the NBL season. And the Gold Coast has a couple of other young players, but they've also got a lot of older, experienced veteran players as well. And I would expect them to be really well coached by Pero Cameron, who's got great experience too. But on the other side, this Brisbane team has been pretty close for the last couple of years, and they've added a wing import who probably, at least physically, is going to match up on Torrey Craig as well as anybody in the league. So all things considered, it's going to be a great match, but I expect Brisbane to come out with a win at home.
Yeah, what are your keys to the game? I mean, obviously, you're familiar with some of the Gold Coast veteran players, but they also have quite a bit of youth in their team. We're going to see the QBL debut of Flynn Cameron, Jalen Patton Croker as well. Those are two young up-and-coming players. I think they can be talented. I know they're talented. I think they can be difference makers in this competition. What do you think the keys to the game tonight for the Gold Coast are if they want to get a W?
I think the key, and I don't know, I haven't seen them in the preseason specifically, but just looking at how they're lined up, there is, well, Torrey Craig, first of all, is obviously a stud, so make sure he gets touches every single possession. But his matchup with Princeton onwards from the Brisbane Capitals, I think is going to be a great matchup. But there is no way that Adam Dara can contain Aaron Anderson from the Capitals, and I would expect him to have his way. Scotty McGregor, Dusty Reichart, Thalo, there's some really good experienced interior players. Torrey and Princeton are going to be an awesome matchup, one-on-one. But I just think that Aaron Anderson's going to have far too much for the Gold Coast backcourt, and I would expect him to be the difference maker.
Hey, you mentioned Princeton Onwas. I haven't seen him live. I've seen a couple of highlights on Facebook and stuff, and the guy can definitely get up. We hear that he's got the hops. We also hear that he can shoot the ball, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that matchup with him and Torrey Craig. But then with the Capitals, there's been a bit of change as well. Talk a little bit about the new guys in the Brisbane lineup.
Well, just on Princeton specifically, I saw him play during the week, and he can shoot it okay. He passes it pretty well. He does a little bit of everything. So I do think he'll be a great player in the QBL. And there has been change for Brisbane, but a lot of the guys that we're looking at, and some of them we won't know their name, Brenton Mackies and these guys, they're not going to see the floor. I think the main guys from the Capitals are going to be the same guys that we've seen for the last few years.
I think, what about Jake Davis? He's going to have a big role for the Capitals this season. He really stepped up for them last season in that run to the Grand Finals. I think Jake Davis could be a key player for the Capitals, not only tonight, but throughout the QBL season.
Well, he needs to be, and I think most people think he's a great young player, which he is, but, I mean, he's early 20s. He'd be 23 or maybe even 24, not as young as some people think. So it's about time for him to say, I'm a basketball player. I have desire to play at the next level. I need to be a dominant QBL player. That's what he should be trying to do.
We're talking about the starting lineups here. You've got Torrey Craig, Dwayne Vale, Zach Bourne, Scott McGregor, and Thalo Green starting for the Gold Coast Rollers. Then you look at the Capitals. They're going to answer with Aaron Anderson, Anthony Kopskas, Princeton Onwas, Zach Carter, and Dusty Reichart. Now, I talked to Coach Tarrant a little bit before the game, and he was really excited about Princeton Onwas. He thinks Princeton is going to be a real difference maker in this competition. He really targeted a guy who can put the ball on the floor and score, but the thing that Coach Tarrant told me about Onwas that he was most excited about was his passing ability. So let's see what we can get out of Princeton. What have you heard about him?
Well, I saw him play during the week. I mentioned this a minute ago while you were off air for a sec. I saw him play during the week, and he can shoot it okay. His strokes are right. He can pass it really, really well, and there's a big difference between midweek Brisbane games and the QBL. But he's got all the talent to be a really good player, and athletically and physically, he can get upstairs. And I don't know who recruited him, whether it was Jeff or someone else, but whoever recruited him deserves a lot of credit, because if you're going to have a player in Jeff Tarrant's system where they're all over the place and sporadic in many ways, he is the perfect player for that system. Does a bit of everything, shoots it, handles it. He could play the power forward spot, and I think he's going to match up with Torrey Craig really well, better than most people think.
Yeah, well, Torrey Craig, when he came into the Brisbane Bullets, he was more of they didn't think that they were going to get the scoring out of him that they did. He really showed an inside-out game. I mean, this is going to sound like a crazy question, but how dominant do you expect Torrey Craig to be in the QBL?
Well,
and is that too much pressure for him?
I'm not sure how dominant he can be, because I'm not sure that he's going to get the looks. I mean, I would double him, trap him, and if you take it out of his hands, who's going to beat you for the Gold Coast Rollers?
All right, we'll take a break for the anthem. All right, so we got about 3 minutes to go before the tip, Dan. I'm sorry I put you on the spot there just before the anthem, but let's get back to Torrey Craig.
Yeah.
We're talking about how dominant can he be, and should we expect him to be the dominant player in this competition?
Yeah, I think what I was trying to get at is let's define dominant. Is he going to be the kind of player that comes in and scores, rebounds, assists, plays defense, and takes the Gold Coast to the playoffs? Or is he going to be a guy that puts up numbers on a losing team? And I think it's going to be more of the latter. I think he'll get his just because he's such a good player, but I'm not sure that he's going to be the dominant guy that makes this team a lot better, because I don't know who else on their squad is going to be capable of putting up numbers to go with him. And we'll see tonight. Brisbane play this really unique style of scramble defense and packing the paint and daring you to beat you from the three-point line, which the Gold Coast is capable of, but I'm not sure that they're going to have the cattle to give Torrey Craig enough help to get wins against the top teams in the league.
Yeah, Brisbane will come at you for all 40 minutes. They play a really aggressive brand of basketball. I think it's up and down, too, so you wonder about some of the veteran players that Gold Coast have, how they can handle this pace of play.
Well, they're going to struggle, and I think Dusty Reichard and Scott McGregor is going to be a good matchup. Dusty's got the upper hand I think, in that case. Torrey Craig and the Fresh Prince of Orchid Flowers are going to be a good matchup, but I just think Aaron Anderson is not going to be guardable tonight. Adam Darrah can't guard him. Dwayne Bauer can't guard him. To me, that's the difference on a night like this.
And what do you think about Brisbane? They're coming in off back-to-back grand final losses, a bunch of changes in the offseason. They had a lot of stability in the roster. Now they made these changes, bringing in a bit more youth, going to rely a bit more on the youth, but also brought in that second import. You think they can make it back to another GF?
Well, they're a chance, and they're going to put themselves in the mix. They'll win games just based on the style they play. But I'm not sure that they have, how do you word it? I'm not sure they've got the ability to change styles to suit winning grand finals. I think they play one style which at the pointy end of the season is scoutable and defendable. But during the year, given their energy and their rapid, frenetic style, they'll get wins. But I don't think it's a championship team. But if Princeton Onwas is as good as people think he is, then that might change that comment. Yeah,
well, we're going to find out shortly. We're about 45 seconds to tip. Guys, we're bringing this game to you live on the Basketball Queensland YouTube channel via Live Sport Australia. Guys, if you have not, visit the Live Sport Australia Facebook page. Make sure you like it. We're going to be bringing you QBL action, lots of basketball news. We'll have some Big V basketball for you, and hopefully the long-term goal is to bring lots of basketball across Australia to you via the Live Sport Australia platform. So please go to the Facebook page and like it. I'm John Guarna, and my broadcast partner is Dan George. I've got Regan Baker on the camera tonight, and we've got James Bowman on the production panel as well. So we're just about set to tip. I'm pretty excited. I hope everyone viewing is excited as well. This is going to be a fantastic way to start our broadcast season.
No doubt, I'm excited too. And the battle of the clipboards, Parrot Cameron, let's see what he's prepared for this Brisbane Capitals style of play. One of the most experienced, distinguished guys we've probably got in Southeast Queensland from a basketball point of view. So let's see if he can get this team and their experience playing the right style.
Let's see what we got here. We're about to tip. We said the starters already. You've got Torrey Craig, Dwayne Vale, Zach Bourne, Scott McGregor, and Thalo Green for the Gold Coast. And Brisbane's going to answer with Aaron Anderson, Anthony Kopskas, Princeton Onwas, Zach Carter, and Dusty Reichard. And you talked a lot about Aaron Anderson. I think he's one of the most underrated players in this competition. He does a bit of everything for Brisbane. I think if he has a big game tonight, it's going to help Brisbane tremendously.
And I think Princeton Onwas is going to take Aaron Anderson to another level too. It just gives him another runner in transition, someone else to get out on the break with him, which helps Aaron Anderson, gives him another target, which I think he might benefit from as well. So I would expect him, you're right, he's been great, he'll get better.
And Onwis and Torrey Craig jumped. And Onwis, I guess he won that one, but wound up with Gold Coast. So Gold Coast has possession to start. Dara's got it. Vale's fouled there by Princeton Onwis, so that's a quick early foul there.
Well, it's the worst possible start they've got. Onwis matched up on Dwayne Vale and Flopsicus matched up on Torrey Craig. And that's a surprising matchup to me. You probably do that to keep Flopsicus out of foul trouble, but it doesn't work well when Princeton gets a foul in the first minute of the game, or first possession of the game, rather.
It's going to be really interesting what they do there. McGregor has his pass stolen. Princeton Onwis recovers. Not what you're looking for on your first offensive set. Anderson's going to pull up for a deep one. That's off. Craig comes down with it.
And I think, sorry, Johnny, go ahead. I was going to say, I think the way Kopsicus is guarding him, picking him up, Craig gets the rebound, Kopsicus is right there. You just got to try and wear him down. He's such a good player. You can't just let him go where he wants. You've got to make every movement hard for him, and hopefully by the time the fourth quarter comes, he's fatigued.
McGregor looks inside. Torrey Craig lays it in. First points to the Gold Coast Rollers off a great look from Scotty McGregor to Torrey Craig. Onwis comes off the screen, throws up the little teardrop. It rolls out. Green comes down with it. Bell, great look inside. McGregor finishes. It's 4-0 here early for the Gold Coast. It's poor transition D there from Caps.
Yeah, it sure is. I think one thing that this Gold Coast team should not do is beat you in transition. That's not a knock on them, but when you've got a team of older guys like they are, they can't be a transition team.
Anderson misses a three, so Brisbane starting out cold, and Gold Coast opens up with a 4-0 lead. There's Torrey Craig with the ball, gets it over to Green. Dara takes the handoff. Work it around. Vale, good pump fake, kicks it out McGregor. Craig wide open, skips it again to Dara. Three-pointers up, rolls in and out. Thalo Green comes down with it. Craig rips it away, and Gold Coast again has possession.
That possession says a lot to me. Torrey Craig easily could have shot that ball. He's the star signing. He makes the extra pass. End again to Adam Dara. It looks like the kind of guy that is going to make everyone else better, and they're going to love playing with him. He's going to create so many opportunities for everyone else.
Yeah, Brisbane looking for their first points of the night. Zach Carter switching the number to 44. Ball's knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay with Brisbane. Onwis for the three-pointer. That's the first points of the night and the first points of the season for Princeton Onwis.
And you can see that shooting touch that you mentioned in the preview too, Johnny. He's a big body, athletic. If he can shoot the ball as well, it makes him a pretty tough cover in this league.
Green is double-teamed. Great no-look pass to Dara. Reverse layup is off. Anderson, the point guard, getting in the paint. His swatted by Torrey Craig. Great recovery as Anderson tried to lay it in. Dara loses the ball out of bounds. They're going to say it went off of Brisbane. It's going to stay with the Gold Coast. How was that block? That was pretty good.
Aaron Anderson made a nice move, but just the length of Torrey Craig. I mean, his arms come down to his knees almost, and you could see it. He's just such an athletic player. There's not too many guys that would have blocked that shot in this league. Aaron Anderson's probably a little bit surprised, but now he knows.
And how do you adjust to that kind of athleticism, Dan?
Good question. I guess you got to go and use the rim as protection, lay it up on the other side.
McGregor with the offensive board over the back. 4-3 the lead here for Gold Coast early. Craig's going to fire another three. He didn't like the first one. He missed the second one again. Onwis, good pump fake. Gets his feet in the paint. Hands off for Anderson. Anderson going to fire the three. That's wet as well. 6-4. Capitals take the lead. Kopska's doing a pretty good job on Craig here early.
Well, I think you're going to see a few different guys guard him You're going to see a few different guys guard him tonight. Kopsikas is doing a great job early. He's undermatched talent-wise, but just his effort. He's making things as difficult, and that's all you can do. You're not going to stop him completely. He'll get his 20 points just because he'll take a lot of shots. He's going to make him work for it, and if he's going to settle for 3-point shots like he has the last 3 possessions, Gold Coast is going to struggle tonight.
Zach Carter gets in the paint and lays it in. Thelo Green trying to pick up the foul. Coach Tarrant wanted the defensive foul. Well, they're going to get Kopsikas for the hand check. That's a tough call. He's trying to body him. I don't necessarily like that call, especially because it's so far away and it didn't really affect the play.
It'll be interesting to see how Torrey Craig's officiated in the league, and he might get a couple of calls just out of reputation. He's such a good player. If it's borderline like that, he'll probably get the call, but Kopsikas was a bit hard done by. That's pretty good defense.
Got to give a shout out to our boy Big Joe. He's at home watching the game. I know he wishes that he was here watching it live, but thanks for tuning in, Big Joe. Hope you're recovering well. Torrey Craig spins in the paint. Finger roll is good. What a move there from Torrey Craig. Onwis going right at Craig. Picks up his dribble, hits Carter. Three-pointer is up. That's good for Zach Carter. It's a good sign when he's firing from 3 and hitting. Great look inside from Craig for finding the cutting Thelo Green. 11-8 the lead. Reichard going at McGregor. Dusty Reichard with the turnaround. It's good. Now the pace starting to pick up for both teams. This plays in the favor of the Capitals.
It sure does. I mean, the Gold Coast needs to be careful. You can do that for a quarter or two, but you don't want to play 4 quarters at this pace against this Brisbane team.
Good D there. Craig thinks about a deep 3. He puts it up. That's good. Torrey Craig hits his first 3. Lead cut to 2 now. Carter back-to-back 3s, though. He answers. (15-11) the score now. Carter switched out on Craig. Thelo Green's going to put up a 3. That's good as well. It's a 3-point fest here in Auchenflower.
This is great watching, isn't it? Fantastic viewing. Both teams putting up some numbers in the first quarter. We'll see how sustainable this pace is. For Brisbane, we know they can keep it up. Let's see how the Gold Coast in their leagues keep going.
Dusty Reichart, long 2 is off. Jalen Patton Croker with the rebound. It's knocked out of bounds, though, by Anthony Kopsikas. Keep an eye on this Jalen Patton Croker, Dan. I'm telling you, the kid can play. He's got handles. He can get up. He can shoot the ball as well. I remember watching him at the State Classics last year, and he was phenomenal.
Well, he's going to get plenty of opportunity tonight, I think, and it's interesting, Torrey Craig running the point for the Gold Coast Rollers. Unsuccessfully on that occasion, but it's going to be a role he plays.
Princeton Onwis puts it down off the steal from Torrey Craig. I think he nearly knocked his forehead on the rim on that one. I was so excited I forgot to update the score. 17-14 now. Good pass inside. Blocked by Reichard. They're going to call a foul, though. Dwayne Vale going to go to line for a couple shots. Also on the court now for Gold Coast, you got Zach Bourne out there. Here's another exciting youngster for the Gold Coast set to check in, Flynn Cameron. It's Coach Pero Cameron's son. Flynn Cameron can ball also. He is really exciting player. I'm excited because, he's playing QBL, but we're going to get to see him develop throughout the course of the season.
And I've heard a lot of great things about him as well from a lot of different people. So, again, we get to watch him tonight on a pretty good stage in front of a good crowd. And he's going to get plenty of opportunity to show what he can do.
Captain Dwayne Vale hits them both, and then he's going to take a seat on the bench. The 2 free throws cut the lead to 2-1. Brisbane up on the Gold Coast here with about 3:30 to go in the first quarter. Onwis going to fire a 3. That's good as well. Princeton Onwis. I think he's taking this matchup personally. He wants to show out.
Well, he's showing everything so far. He's showing D, showing his range. He's on the break, dunking with authority. He's showing everything. Great signing for Brisbane.
Yeah, early signs are very positive for Brisbane. Jake Davis, the deep three. That's a bit strong. Reichart fights for the rebound. Green comes down with it. Davis is the kind of guy that shoots himself into rhythm, doesn't he?
He is. He's a volume scorer, but if he gets hot, he can put up 30 points in a hurry.
Craig's open for three. The shot's up and good. Torrey Craig for three. Onwis wide open again in the corner for three. That one rolls in and out. Fighting for the rebound. Ball goes out of bounds off Thalo Green. So Brisbane will maintain possession. Dusty Reichart going to take a seat on the bench. Brenton Mackey is going to check in. And Thalo Green going to have a seat. And Scotty McGregor checks back in for the Gold Coast.
Oh, watch out. I thought he was
Onwis
going to punch that.
We wanted him to punch it, but he lays it in instead. It's now a three-point lead for Brisbane. Double team here. Anderson gets his hand on the ball. McGregor open, though. Good ball movement. Patton Croker for three. That's short. Great offensive rebound there by Flynn Cameron. Good look. Bourne with the good pump fake. Powers his way through and lays it in. Brisbane off and running. Davis gets ahead of the crowd. Now Onwis again, top of the key three this time. That's good as well. Princeton Onwis. He's got 13 to lead all scorers.
Well, he's on fire.
And here comes Seb Windsor. His layup is swatted by Torrey Craig, but they're going to get Flynn Cameron for the foul beforehand. Torrey Craig skying and swatted. Princeton Onwis going to take a seat on the bench. Carter going to check in. Seb Windsor at the line for two. He hits the first.
I think the Gold Coast with young Seb and Mackey on for Brisbane, this is when they really need to make a push and try and close this gap. I think they've proven that they can run with Brisbane, but it's going to be hard to outscore them. And if Brisbane stay on this track and get 30 points a quarter, they're going to win. So Gold Coast need to knuckle down here and try and close this gap heading into the first quarter break.
Seb Windsor's going to see time this season. Coach Tarrant told me beforehand they want to get him minutes, and he's going to have the opportunity. He hits 2 free throws, and then Gold Coast turns it over on the other end.
And that's the sort of possession that's going to lead to losses. I mean, Scotty McGregor's done everything in basketball in Australia, but, I mean, he's got a big mismatch out there at the moment. He's got to be smart and look after the ball and not give away possessions, but he knows that, and I'm sure they'll make the adjustment.
Davis going strong to the rim, lays it in. Nice move there by Jake Davis. Dara back in, running the show for Gold Coast. 29-21 the lead here for Brisbane. Patton Croker has it, guarded by Davis. He's going to kick it back out. Torrey Craig going to fire another three. That's a bit strong. Long rebound to Patton Croker. Bourne now with it, top of the key, gets through the paint, but his pass goes to nobody.
Got to lay that up. Did all the hard work.
Brent Mackey thought he was getting a breather. He headed to the bench, but it's Aaron Anderson taking a breather, and Anthony Kopskas checking back in for the Caps. So we're under a minute to go now. Brisbane leads by 8. Davis again putting it on the deck. Mackey has it now. Skips it for Carter. Carter's going to fire a deep three. That's good for Zach Carter. Again, if he's hitting three, Brisbane's tough.
Well, that's his game. I'm not sure, with all respect, what else he does. He's not a great rebounder, not a great defender. Gold Coast has to know that that's what he's trying to do. And you can't let shooters get open shots like that, or it's going to be a long night. 32 points with another possession to come. It's just far too many points to be giving up and expect to win.
Yeah, blocking foul there on Anthony Kopskas. That's his second personal. He's the main guy guarding Torrey Craig at the moment, so he's got 2 fouls.
I'd like to see Jake Davis guard Torrey Craig at times tonight as well. I think you'll see 3 or 4 different guys all take turns on him.
McGregor's going to fire the three. That's air ball again. for Brisbane, Gold Coast. So Brisbane has an opportunity for the final shot here. Let's see what they come up with. Windsor looking to go at Darry, drives baseline, leaves his feet. Carter in the corner has got to put up a tough three. It hits the back of the rim, no good. Zach Bourne with the rebound, and that's it for the quarter. And Brisbane comes out. They started really slow, Dan, but gee, they caught fire there at the end. They're up by 11, 32-21 at the break.
They sure did, and it was just classical Capitals basketball of high pace, one-pass shot. And when you've got good shooters, that style can work. And the Gold Coast would have known that's how they want to play, but so far they've been unable to stop it.
Yeah, so we'll take a break. We'll try and get some quarter time statistics. It's 32-21. Brisbane Capitals over the Gold Coast Rollers here on Nothing But Net Media. Welcome back to NAB Stadium here in Auchenflower. It's 32-21 the lead for the Capitals at the break. Dan, Brisbane did a lot of their damage from the three-point arc. Looks like 2016 all over again.
It sure does. 6 of 9 from deep for Brisbane, but that's the style that we expect them to play, and teams have to be aware of that. I know it's a slightly unorthodox way that most teams play, but you've got to be ready for it. But the things that stand out to me, Johnny, the Gold Coast have 6 turnovers, Brisbane 0. For the pace that they play to have no turnovers is fantastic. Points off turnovers, Brisbane 9, Gold Coast obviously 0, given that there hasn't been a turnover. So Brisbane looking after the ball, playing the style of play at the pace they want. The Gold Coast have to take them out of their system. Stop ball reversal. It's not a difficult system to stop, as Cairn showed in the final, but you can't let them reverse it and pass wherever they want to, or else the Gold Coast are going to have a long night ahead of them.
And they did a really good job on Torrey Craig, I thought, in the first quarter, really keeping him to the perimeter except off that turnover.
Yeah, well, he's going to have 30 points because he's going to take a lot of shots. But if you make him take 30 shots to get his 30 points, it's a good night. And he's got 10 so far. He'll be the focus for the Gold Coast, obviously all night long, as he should be. But Brisbane are making him work for it at the moment, which is all you can ask.
Kopska's going right at him, kicks it out to Windsor. Windsor pulls up for a jump shot. It's off the back of the rim. Darragh comes down with it. It'll be interesting to see if they switch up the defender on Craig for the quarter now. Ball out of bounds off Thallow Green.
I definitely would. I'd put Jake Davis on him for a bit. I'd put Princeton Onwes on him for most of the night and say, we're paying you to come out here. You're our stud, he's their stud. Let's see who wins. I think you've got to challenge your guy first up and see what he's got.
Kopsakis with the layup is good. I like it when he's aggressive too. Make the defender work on the other end as well. Who's going to be that secondary scorer, though, for a Gold Coast so they don't have to rely on Craig? A lot of contact there. Craig throws up a floater. It's off. He wanted the foul. Kopskis, though, starting to get in his head. You see Craig getting a little frustrated already.
Well, the Brisbane style of playing D is obviously high ball pressure and pack the paint.
That's a great pass there by Davis. Brenton Mackey comes down with it and loses it out of bounds. But what a look there by Davis. Carter just couldn't convert.
The Caps are going to pack the paint, so as you saw, Torrey Craig's got to drive through 2 or 3 people, which is pretty hard to do no matter how good you are. And I don't know if the Gold Coast has a second scoring option, Johnny. So that frustration level for Torrey is going to go up and up as this game progresses.
Green being aggressive, tries to get it to Craig. Kopskis comes up with the steal. He's looking to go all the way. A lot of contact. He still finishes. Great end-to-end action there from Kopsakis. And Coach Pero Cameron not happy with his troops. He's going to take the timeout. Let's keep things here, though, Dan. Good timeout by Coach Cameron.
Well, he's got to change something. Offensively, they're not looking very good, and that's leading to transition baskets for the Capitals, which is where they do their best work. Brisbane in a grinded-out half-court game are containable, and they're not hugely difficult to defend, but if they're able to get in transition like this, they're a handful. And so far, the Gold Coast Rollers are playing right into their style.
Yeah, turning the ball over. We've seen them come out to this third quarter. They've got 7 turnovers on the game already. I think they've got 3 of those in the first minute and a half in the second quarter.
Yeah, well, they turned it over in the first as well, so it's a theme that is continuing, unfortunately, for them. And points from turnovers for Brisbane up to 13, points in the paint 14. Put that together, there's 27 pretty easy points that the Capitals haven't had to work too hard for, and that's been the story of the game so far. Yeah,
we'll look at the scoring. You got 5 players on the score sheet for Gold Coast, but only Torrey Craig with 10 in double digits. Let's take a look now at Brisbane, and you see they're distributing it easy. They've got 7 guys already on the score sheet. You know Brisbane's going to use their bench. Coach Tarrant very confident in his guys on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've shown that if they're going to play the quick style, the depth of roster is important for them. And like we said at the top, this Gold Coast team is full of older veterans, and they don't have the legs to play this style, but so far they seem happy just to trade buckets, which is not going very well. They've got to make Brisbane play a half-court game and grind it out, but so far they're unable to do it.
Yep, let's see what the Gold Coast has coming out of the timeout. McGregor's trapped on, then travels. Good defense there by Brisbane. Picked up his pivot foot, didn't he, on the
Well, obviously the timeout was let's get the ball in the paint, but Brisbane double-team the post every single time, so you can't go one pass post entry. You've got to reverse the ball, set back picks, get Torrey Clay flashing to the block so you can make a quick move. You've got to make these adjustments against Brisbane. If you do that, they split themselves wide open.
Anderson off the pump fake, can't get the jumper to fall. Green comes down with it. Here's Craig now. Kopskis again with the matchup. I really like his reaction to the assignment. Green's going to fire a 3. That's short. Fighting for the rebound. They're going to get a foul. I think they're going to give that one to Jake Davis. He was battling Big Scotty McGregor in the paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Onwes going to check back in for Jake Davis. And I think I'm starting to understand what Coach Tarrant did there. He doesn't want Onwes picking up any fouls. He needs him on the court. As a turnover off the inbounds, Anderson skies to the rim and lays it in. 38-21 now the lead for Brisbane. I think they gave a bench warning there, maybe a bit of chatter on the court.
It was a delay of game warning. Princeton took the ball out of the hoop and threw it to the ref, which you can't do. So delay of game warning to Brisbane.
All right. That's why we got you here, Dan. Craig with the pass to Dara. Top of the key 3 is good from Adam Dara. Gold Coast on the board. Carter goes right at the D. He can't hit, but it's tipped out. Anderson has it. He'll fire a 3. That's too strong. Green's playing big minutes. Finds Vale, now McGregor. McGregor hits Vale again. That three-pointer is way off. Carter comes down with it. Gold Coast looks a bit winded. They look a bit tired.
They sure do, and that's going to continue, I would suspect. This has got to become a half-court game if the Gold Coast are going to have any chance at all.
Onwes misses the 3. McGregor comes down with it. Gold Coast needs to get a good look here. Fallow Green reverse layup is no good, but he's fouled, so he's going to go to the line for a couple shots. It looks like Brisbane's going to take a timeout, so we're going to take one as well. 6:35 to go here in the first half. It's a 38-24 lead for the Brisbane Capitals over the Gold Coast Rollers here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Live Sport Australia via Nothing But Net Media. All right, welcome back. We're back here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Coming out of that timeout, Gold Coast forward Thalo Green's going to be at the free throw line for 2 shots. Pace has slowed down a little bit here. Brisbane had 31 points at the break. They've only got 38. We're about halfway through the quarter.
Yeah, and you can feel the energy has kind of come out of the building a little bit too. So I think for Brisbane, they're going to want to get back out on the break and get this crowd excited again. But this is the pace that the Gold Coast Rollers have to play at. They cannot give up 25 points a quarter, let alone 30 or 32.
Cameron picks up the foul. He's got a tough matchup with Aaron Anderson, does Flynn Cameron. And Green knocks the pass out of bounds. So bit of stop-start here coming out of the timeout. Big crowd here in Auchenflower as Anderson gets past Cameron and lays it in. I think, for me, Anderson, he's most effective when he's attacking the rim. I don't like when he settles for jumpers.
I agree with you. I think when he gets in the paint, he gets looks, but it opens up everything for everyone else. He's great at getting in the lane and kicking it out to shooters. And as we know, the Brisbane Capitals put 5 shooters on the floor.
Kopsikas can't get it to fall. Onwis with the follow and the foul. That one looks like it's going to be on Torrey Craig. Good transition there from Brisbane. Onwis going to go to the line for the 3-point play opportunity.
He looks like the real deal, doesn't he?
He sure does.
I just like his demeanor. Not too excited, not too low. Teammates seem to enjoy his company. It's good signs for Brisbane.
Yeah, I think, if just this quarter and a half of actions to go by, Brisbane's found themselves a weapon. And how about Aaron Anderson now with the assignment as McGregor fires a 3? That's strong. Anderson with the D board. Always looking up, Anderson. He's going to fire the 3. That's off. You see Brisbane shading towards Torrey Craig the whole time. Every time he has the ball, he's settling for the jump shot. They're not going to make it easy for him to get in the paint. What a pass. What a block, though, by Torrey Craig. That's his 3rd one of the night. A lot of contact, and they're going to get an offensive foul called on Torrey Craig. Kopsikas loves to pick up the charge. He was there. That's a charge right at half court.
I disagree with you. I think you got to give him room to land, don't you? Like, he's jumped to catch the pass and he's landed on top of the defender. I think if it was one more step, obvious charge, but in that case, I would put the benefit in favor of the offensive player in that case.
It just looked to me like he was set. He saw it coming. Kopsikas got there. I understand what you're talking about coming down, but to me, that was definitely an offensive foul. I think it was a good call by the referees. And more importantly, that's the 3rd personal foul on Torrey Craig with 5 minutes to go in the first half. He's going to be on the bench for the rest of this half, no?
He probably will be, but if I was Peril, I'd just leave him out there. I might go to a zone or something to protect him from foul trouble, but they're down 16. Without Torrey Craig, they're going to be down 26 in a hurry.
Reichardt's going to catch and shoot. That's off. Val comes down with it for the Gold Coast. Turnover again. Cameron, bad pass to Val. Onwis has it. Kicks it out. Davis looks at the 3-point line, puts it up and in. That's a confident-looking shot.
Well, he just caught it and took a dribble backwards, so it was a 3, not a long 2. So good court awareness as well to make sure he got his feet behind the line.
46-27. Brisbane starting to run away here in the second quarter. Patton Croker nearly has it stolen. Winds up with Flynn Cameron. Cameron puts it on the deck, kicks it out to Bourne. His 3 is off. And then they're going to get Pero Cameron for a technical foul. He's in the referee's ear the whole time. Coach Cameron not happy with the referees here. A lot of contact, a lot of no calls. The ref's letting them play. Coach Cameron getting into his ears. Maybe he's trying to fire the troops up.
Who knows what was said, whether he deserved it or not. Maybe he's trying to fire his team off. Maybe he's just a bit confused as to some of the calls because there has been contact. But I think the officials have been pretty consistent, bar that last Torrey Craig foul, which he might have been questioning, but it's not the ref's fault they're down by what they're down by. They've got to change their style, and so far they haven't.
47-27 the lead now here for Brisbane. Onwis thinks about a three, puts it on the deck. He'll pull up for the short two. That's off. Bourne comes up with it. They're going to call a defensive foul. Looks like it's going to go against the Gold Coast. That's going to go on Zach Bourne. That's the 15th foul for Gold Coast. So it's going to send Anthony Kopskas to the line for a couple shots. It's the first, does Kopskas. Second one is up. That's good as well. It's he can shoot the ball pretty well, but it's quite high and back, far
sure
back
is.
the release, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see if Gold Coast can respond here. They got their young guns. Patton Croker is going to fire a baseline jumper. That's off. Green fighting for the rebound. He's fouled, and he'll go to line for a couple shots. This is a great opportunity for the young fellas at Gold Coast to step up. They're going to see the court. They got to produce, though, when they're on there.
They sure do, and I guess one of the things with Torrey Craig getting into foul trouble, it hurts the Gold Coast Rollers, and like I said, I would leave him out there, because I think without him, I think they're just going to struggle to score. But he's no longer the focus because he's on the bench, so you've got 5 other guys who now have a chance to run offense, to get shots, to show what they can do. And maybe this sort of thing is not a bad thing for their team. Hopefully it gets other guys in a rhythm, so when Torrey Craig comes back on, he's got some help.
Green missed the first one. Makes the second. I think people are sleeping on this Capitals team. I know everyone thought with the losses they had that they were going to struggle, but they still have a lot of talent, and I know they've played the same style for a long time, but it's tough to play against. They are a great defensive team.
And one thing you can never question is how hard they play.
And when they're hitting threes, they're nearly impossible to beat. We look at that's their 8th three-pointer of the night. And Seb Windsor's going to pick up a charge call. This one on Flynn Cameron.
I think the X factor for them, Johnny, just sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think they'll go as far as their imports take them. Anderson, we know what he brings. He's been doing it for a couple of years now. If Princeton almost comes out and he's average, they're going to be average. If he comes out and he's as good as he looks so far tonight, they're going to be right there at the end of the season again. But on the other side, if you watch some tape, they'll kick it ahead to the corner, they'll ball reverse out, they'll shoot threes. If you just stop the ball reversal, it changes their whole system. And it amazes me how these teams don't seem to make adjustments. I don't know if they don't watch film during the week and prepare, or if they just execute so well, the Capitals, that they can't guard them no matter what they know is coming. But we'll see the ball here. They'll move it, they'll pass it where they want, and it makes them hard to guard. There's not much ball pressure or ball denial going on. You can see 3 or 4 passes. They do what they want. You can't guard anyone, let alone the Capitals, like that.
Well, they tried to go to zone to switch things up, but Brisbane happy playing against zone. 2-on-1 break here. Patton Croker crossing over, goes to the rack. He lays it in. Nice transition bucket there. Maybe that'll get the young fellow going. Got about 3 minutes to go now in the first half. Seb Windsor in the paint, kicks it over to Reichart. Good pump fake, floater is good. How long has Dusty Reichart been doing that for?
I was about to say, it's been 14 years maybe. He's been playing in Australia and he's been doing the same thing. If you watch tape on him, he'd have more hair, but his game's the same. He's just been consistent for years and years and years and still doing it.
Patton Croker, now Dara has it. He's going to fire a three. That's in and out. Reichart loses it. Onwis comes up with it. Now Davis, he'll step into a deep three. That's good from Jake Davis. You give him space, and he'll fire one right in your face. And again, I keep saying it, but it all starts for me on the defensive end for Brisbane. Their intensity just carries over on the defensive side of things, and they stay aggressive and on every spot on the floor. Every spot.
Yeah, and if you paused it at any point in time, they've got usually 5 guys in the paint, or at least 4 guys, one on the ball and 5 guys just plugging up the middle. and their ball pressure is awesome. But at the same time, that ball pressure can lead them to break down too, and they do what they do really, really well, and it appears that most coaches haven't figured out how to stop it. But if you're methodical with how you do things, if you know what you want to get and you execute it, there are gaps here, but Brisbane is just consistently doing what they want on both ends of the floor so far tonight.
Dara kicks it out. Patton Croker's got to get the shot off. Young fella didn't realize the shot clock was coming down. His team didn't do a good job communicating it to him either. That's a shot clock violation. 57-30 the lead here for Brisbane. Davis going to fire another one. That's short. Looked good from this angle.
It was perfectly shaped. We were right behind him. It was on the money, just a couple of inches too small.
I think, when these guys trying to run pick and roll against Brisbane, you play right into their hands. As Anderson throws up the floater, it's off. Vale wasn't ready for it. Davis recovers. Up ahead to Onwis. Over to Anderson. He throws it up. Onwis, though, can't catch. He recovers, though, and lays it in.
Well, hopefully, if we've got a 30-point blowout, there'll be some highlights. Princeton Onwis all over the rim. Torrey Craig might give us some love in the second half. Get this crowd pumped up.
Vale throws it up. Can't get the roll, but he's going to go to line for a couple shots off the foul. Man, this is. I thought there was the potential for this, but not at halftime. I mean, we're talking about nearly 60 points for Brisbane, and we still have about 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Gold Coast didn't have a strategy to guard Brisbane's offense. And criticize or praise, like or dislike Jeff's system. We know what it is, and he's been really successful. You've got to give him credit. But they were totally underprepared, and so far we've got Brisbane putting on 60-plus points in a half, which is 20 points way too much. So that's what surprises me. I thought Gold Coast would have a better strategy coming into tonight, but so far we haven't seen it.
Jays Morris just checked in. He'll fire a jumper. That's off. Got about 10 seconds to go in the half here. Good pass inside. Carter with the layup. They're just taking Gold Coast to school.
How the Gold Coast, Seb Windsor's the point guard for the Brisbane Capitals, and he's working out of the high post against his own. And he's doing what he wants. The Gold Coast have to have more pride than that. But credit to Brisbane. They've looked equally as impressive as Gold Coast has been unimpressive offensively and probably more so defensively. They've looked really, really good.
61-30 the score at the half, guys. Really shocked at the performance so far from the Brisbane Capitals. I think Princeton Onwis, we weren't sure what we were going to get. He's been really impressive. The whole team really has done a great job tonight so far in that first half for Brisbane.
Well, the thing that makes them hard to guard, I think, the ball movement, the style they run, but let's forget that for a second. They don't have one guy that's the focus. If Zach Carter's open, he's going to shoot it. If Seb Windsor's open, he's going to shoot it. And so they've got all these different guys that at any given point could launch it. Where if they come down the other end and everything is geared towards one or two players, and most teams play like that, there's one or two focus points, whereas Brisbane have 5 weapons on the court every time, and it could go up with 23 seconds on the shot clock. They just play their own style, and that's made them really hard to guard, and the result is a 61-point half.
Yeah, we'll try and get some statistics for you. We're going to take a bit of a break. We'll come back with a few minutes to go before the half, but it is 61-30 for the Brisbane Capitals over the Gold Coast Rollers at halftime. We'll be back with you shortly here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Live Sport Australia via Nothing But Net Media.
Hi, my name is Jade and I play basketball for Queensland.
Well, some of the great things about Aussie Hoops program would be the younger kids, developing their skills at at lower ages.
The thing I love about playing basketball would be working as a team. I also love the energy and the atmosphere basketball has.
Favourite training session of the week would be my club training. It's more involved than just individual sessions.
If a kid approached me about playing basketball for the first time, I would definitely tell them about how much fun it is. Basketball is a game for everyone, and it's also an all year round sport.
It doesn't matter what shape or size you are, give basketball a go.
In-depth video analysis is no longer just for the pros. Hudl is an easy and affordable tool that brings professional level insight to club and high school teams. Just film and track events live at games and upload them to hudl.com. Accelerate player development with team messaging, automatically generated shot charts and reports, and the ability to add notes and drawings to your video. Coaches can exchange game footage with their entire league, all from one place. Sign up for a free trial to see for yourself how Hudl helps teams win.
Welcome back to NAB Stadium here in Auchenflower. It is halftime at 61-30. The Brisbane Capitals over the Gold Coast Rollers. Dan, we talked about it before we took the break, but Brisbane just absolutely all over Gold Coast. They just have no response in that first half.
No, they don't, and there's not much more you can say other than that. It's just a completely one-sided event at the moment. A couple of stats that shine out for me that really summarise what's happening. The Gold Coast Rollers, 16 turnovers. Brisbane Capitals have one turnover, and it was Mackie who got the offensive rebound and lost it out of bounds, which is not a real true turnover. So you could almost argue they haven't turned the ball over one time in a half of basketball, which is amazing given the pace they play with. If you look at points in the paint, 26 to Brisbane, 8 for the Rollers. Points of turnovers, 20 to Brisbane, Gold Coast 0. Brisbane are just doing whatever they want and playing the style that they want. The Gold Coast are trying to match it, but they just don't have the cattle. I mean, these guys, I don't know, Scotty McGregor's probably 40, Thalo's probably close to 40, Adam Darragh looks 40, Dwayne Val's obviously the other side of 30. They can't play that pace, but they're trying to, and it's not going well.
Yeah, we talked to the president of the Gold Coast, though. They do have some troops coming in. Their other import, unfortunately, didn't get his visa clearance until today, so he couldn't suit up. But it sounds like they may have a few other weapons coming in.
Oh, no doubt, and Brisbane have got them at the right time. If you had another American, Sean Gleason as well, who's a really solid player that we're all familiar with. If you had those two guys, and hopefully this other import's good, we expect him to be solid. If you add them to this lineup, that changes the game a little bit. But the thing that disappoints me, Johnny, that I'm surprised with, is that whether those guys are in the system or not, you want to play a certain way. And I want to come out, if I'm the Gold Coast, I'm going to say, we can't run with these guys. They play this crazy style that's up and down. Take the air out of the ball, take the air out of the crowd. Let's grind this down in the half court. We're going to guard them this way, but so far it doesn't seem like they put that plan in place. And that's what surprises me. They're not trying to implement their will in this game. They're doing whatever the Brisbane Capitals do, and they can't play like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the second half. I mean, they have such a deficit that they're going to have to try and junk things up. Torrey Craig also has 3 personal fouls. How much do you think that's going to play into the plans for Gold Coast in the half?
I'm not sure that he needs to play 20 minutes this half, so if it's a case where he can go for an O board, but he's not quite sure, just don't go for it. You just got to protect yourself and understand that your value is in being on the floor. So hopefully we see plenty of him and he can stay out of foul trouble. Let's hope he does. But they do have to junk it up. At this stage, though, it's all about their defense. They can't give up 120, 130 points and expect to have any chance tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. A lot of action tonight. It's the opening weekend of the QBL. Looking at the men's score, it looks like Ipswich got over Toowoomba 83-80. The Brisbane Spartans taking down Logan Thunder 75-58. USC Rip and the Sunshine Coast Phoenix in a tight one, 56-50 in the third quarter. Got our game, 61-30 is the lead for Brisbane. The Mackay Meteors at the half over Gladstone, 50-41. Mackay, one of the is our preseason pick to win it all. That's a tight battle for them up in Gladstone.
It's probably a bit surprising how close that is, and who knows what's actually happening up there. But Townsville and Mackay were out to locks for the top 4, as well as a couple of teams from down south as well. But Mackay, you'd expect them to win, and you'd expect them to win by a bit more than 9 points at the half. But credit to Gladstone, who knows what's happening. But
yeah, and I recall you picking the Rip to be in your Final Four. You're surprised to see them as close in that battle with the Phoenix?
Well, I reckon you could flip a coin between the Spartans, the Rip, and now that I've seen Princeton almost put the Capitals in there as well. It's one of those 3, but I do think the Rip will be top 8. So I would expect them to get that win. Lance Hurdle's doing work up there. We'll see what happens, but I would expect them to be right in the mix come finals time, definitely.
And if you're Coach Tarrant now, we'll get him back to our game here. If you're Coach Tarrant at the half, what are you telling the guys? Just keep doing what you're doing, or do you look to where do you think that they may need to, or Coach Tarrant might want them to improve?
Well, I don't think you can be content with just keep doing what you're doing. Excuse me. I think there needs to be the need to continue to improve no matter what. It's the opening half of the first game of the season, but they are doing whatever they want on both ends of the floor. So I would have been full of praise. But fellas, don't take your foot off the throat here. They've got 61-30. Gold Coast shouldn't score 60 points tonight. Let's keep them in the 50s or less. That's the goal. Let's really show the league that we've lost players, but we're the real deal this year again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We're underway now here in the half. Can the Gold Coast come back from a 31-point halftime deficit with Torrey Craig having 3 fouls already? They go inside to Green. He tries to go through a lot of contact. McGregor somehow comes up with it. He can't get it to roll. Out of bounds, though, off the Capitals, so Gold Coast maintains possession.
Better offense for Gold Coast, though. They ran a good set. Torrey Craig wasn't really involved. Other guys are touching it. Thalo's staying aggressive. Hopefully there's more of that. Good style of play for them to be playing.
They seem to run a lot through Thalo Green.
Well, Thalo Green 10 years ago was legit. When he came out and played for Rocky, he would have been MVP of the league, if not close to it. So it's great to see him still playing well, but at 37, 38, 39, if he's the focus point of your offense, it's not going to be a winning season potentially, but give him credit. If he can be that second or third option when Gleason and this American come in, they're all right.
Yeah. Green picks up the foul as we're talking about him. He's quite a versatile player, even though he's getting up there. We've seen him hit a couple threes. We've seen him score around the basket. He's guarding 1 through 5. I mean,
he's a good defender. He's got multiple positions. He's got a great beard. Give him credit. Young family. Always tough to balance out, but yeah, he can be a great third or fourth option. Tonight he's the second option, and that's probably something which at this stage is not what he's suited to.
Craig loses it on the way up, goes out of bounds off of Brisbane, so Gold Coast will keep possession. Torrey Craig looking for the foul call. He's chatting to the refs.
Just shrug that off. You can't complain about that. Just
Anderson now with the assignment on Torrey Craig. He's got great hands, Anderson. Dara hits they're going to call it a long 2. Nice creativity there, though, by Torrey Craig, drawing the D in and kicking.
Absolutely.
Onwas with the teardrop. That's no good. Goes out of bounds off of the Gold Coast Rollers. Again, Coach Cameron looking for the offensive foul call. Dara, look, there was a lot of contact. He's got to be careful. He's got the 1T already.
Talking to the same ref that gave him the first take too. I'd just sit down and coach your team is what I'd be doing. But he's entitled to question it. But
yeah,
I've got bigger things to worry about than that possession at the moment.
A couple of Rollers fans next to us giving it to the refs as well. Onwas flips up a wild one. Craig comes down with it. And Onwas picks his pocket. Carter now with a 3-on-1. Carter floats it up. It rolls home.
I want to see highlights, Johnny. I want to see highlights.
We'll have to let Zach know after the game to throw that one up. Craig turns it over again. Now Anderson has it. Kopska's going at Craig again. Kicks it out. Onwas thinks about a 3. Thought we shuffled his feet. He turns it over. Craig out to Dara. Dara's going to step into a 3. That's off. Craig with it again. Thought Dara was going to go for the 3-pointer for the second time. Three seconds. Dara has it. He's stripped. Kopskis comes up with it. Now Reichardt back to Kopskis. The layup is good. Coach Cameron has seen enough. He's going to take a timeout. But again, Torrey Craig just pretty quiet, pretty casual out there. He's getting a bit frustrated with the referees. He's getting frustrated with some of the action.
What's your read on that? How would you want him to respond right now?
I want to see him.
30.
I want to see him take over. I mean, I saw him do it with the Bullets when the Bullets were struggling.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess during our preseason podcast, we mentioned these guys that come down from the NBL. Do you want to come down and stay in shape, or do you want to come down and dominate this second league? And if I was Torrey Craig, I would be trying to take the rim off that backboard every possession at the moment. Obviously not offensive charging, get yourself out of the game, but I guess the mindset is, mate, you're down 30 points. It's the third quarter. The team's getting embarrassed. Yes, you have guys to come in. They're going to get much, much better. That's a given. But right now, it's not looking good. You've got a bunch of people here that have come out to watch you play. Come out and take this game over. You're the best player on the floor. We all know that. Come out and show us. I'd love to see it, but we'll see what they come out of this timeout like. But just a bit too passive for me at the moment.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed to see him give it up, too, with 3 or 4 seconds to go on the shot clock. So I'd like to see a little more aggression out of Torrey Craig. But, yeah, well, let's see. I'm still waiting for that first highlight of his. I mean, we did have a few highlight blocks. Let's give him some credit on that.
He's been really good. And I think it's easy for some of these guys, and the NBL guys especially, the Australians, They come down to the Siebel or the QBL or the Waratah League, whatever it is, and they just expect they'll dominate. But the QBL is a great league, and the guys that are playing in this league are very, very good players. So coming down and dominating is not just a given. You've got to go and earn it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. They're looking for the offensive foul as Dara pushes off on Kopskis. No call. Referees let it go. McGregor finds Craig. He's blocked, but they're going to call a foul. Princeton Onwis had his hands on the ball, but got a bit of the body. Torrey Craig's going to go to line for two. Craig was trying to yoke that one on him.
Well, we like it. He's going hard at the rim. They ran a good set. Let's see more of that. And he is looking at Jeff Tarrant too.
Yeah, we wanted aggression. He came out off the timeout and gave it to us. So let's see if that might spark a little bit out of Torrey Craig here. Misses the free throw, though. Got to hit those. Second one is up. That's good. Anderson gets his feet in the paint, kicks it out to Onwis. Good
nice
pass.
Offense from Brisbane.
Great pass. Reichart was blocked, but he recovered and finished. Vale is going to take a three. That's off. And there's a foul call. Carter called for the foul on Thelo Green there. So Gold Coast getting set to inbounds under the Brisbane basket. Craig's going to fire the three. That's too strong. Reichart comes down with it.
Pretty move. Just worried out of the finish by the long arms of Torrey Craig, but great handle on the ball from Aaron Anderson.
Good ball movement here. Dara goes inside. Green is fouled, and he finishes through the contact. That was better offense there from Gold Coast. A bit of a ball reversal, attack the paint, and then drop it off inside.
That's nice, absolutely. Don't settle for the jump shot. Put pressure on the defense, but one or two ball reversals against Brisbane's defense, we'll see them break down. So good signs from Gold Coast. Maybe a little bit too late for tonight, but hopefully they can finish this game out strong. Even so far this quarter, 6-6.
Green makes the third three-point play. And then he steals the inbounds pass. Now Craig gets in the paint, goes at Carter. He's fouled. And there's the tech foul. The crowd called for it, and Zach Carter got it.
What was he thinking?
It was clearly a foul. It was a blocking foul. He's going to go back for more. So that's his third and fourth foul. So Carter's going to have to take a seat on the bench with 6:22 to go in the third quarter. But that's just the kind of thing that can spark the Gold Coast as well.
You just want to set a culture. And if your culture's winning and success, you can't tolerate that. I'd let him sit there the rest of the game. He'd be done.
Well, Carter's the captain.
Well, it doesn't matter. If that's the example you're going to set, you can't do that. There was an obvious foul and it was an obvious tech. We could see it from here. Anyone who can lip read a little bit, he deserved the tech that he got. I don't know what was going through his head.
Vale has it guarded closely by Davis. Darrell looking for the screen from Green. He gets it. Tries to split the D. Bit of contact there, and Onwis going to get called for the tripping foul. Adam Darrah took a spill. That's Princeton Onwis's fourth personal foul as well with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. So both he and Carter with 4, and Brisbane already in the penalty.
I'm not sure if Jeff knows, but you would think he'd be coming out of the game. For who is the question? They might have to go small and bring Seb Windsor back in.
Dara hits the first. And on cue, Seb Windsor gets his warm-up jersey off. Him and Brent Mackey's getting set to check in for the Capitals. You got to think Onwis is coming off. Maybe Anderson gets a spell.
I think Anderson and, Onwis and Kopsikas, I think, will be coming out. I'd leave Anderson in, one foul. Got young legs. He's a handful for the Gold Coast. I'd leave him in there.
Dara misses the second. Onwis comes down with the rebound. Kopsikas looking to be aggressive. His pass knocked out of bounds. Brisbane keeps it. Onwis doesn't want to come off. Kopsikas going to get a breather as well. So Mackey, Windsor, Reichart, Anderson, and Davis on the court for Brisbane. Gold Coast answers with Dara, Craig, Vale, McGregor, and Green. Catch and shoot for Dusty Reichart, strong. Things have kind of really quieted down a bit.
They have. It's dulled right down, hasn't it?
I think this is, again, we keep saying it, but it's playing into the Gold Coast hands. They're doing a better job of slowing the pace and getting it to where they want it.
Well, this is exactly the style they should have started the game with. The crowd's got nothing to cheer about. It takes away Brisbane's transition game when they slow the ball down like this.
Anderson with a great steal there. Kicks it out to Davis, who thought about the three, puts it on the deck. He's stripped by Dara. A lot of contact, and there's the foul call. Seb Windsor going to get called for the foul.
And that's an obvious foul too.
I thought the first one was the foul. I agree with
2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Brisbane in the penalty. Dara's going to go to line for a couple more shots. Quite surprised, though, to see Coach Cameron not really going to the young fellas. I mean, it's a good opportunity for them to participate in a big comeback. I mean, these are their minutes to have. We talked about the roster and the troops that Coach Cameron has at his call. So,
well, who knows? Those young guys have to earn minutes in practice, and I don't know if they have or they haven't at this stage. Maybe maybe he hasn't seen enough to put him in. But this group that's on the floor right now is an older group. We've said it a bunch of times. 10 years ago, this roster would have been an all-star team, but now they're obviously at the latter stages of their career. But the style they're playing right now is a really good style. They're 13-6 up this quarter. They've slowed the ball right down, and Brisbane having a hard time. So I would just say, mate, you older guys are doing an awesome job. Keep going. Let the young kids sit there and learn the style that we need to play to be successful.
Green just slipped over. Thought he hurt himself, but he popped back up. Brent Mackey's going to fire a three. That's short. I think the whole crowd was hoping that one went in. Dara's pass is tipped out of bounds off of Brisbane, so Gold Coast keeps possession. And I should comment, I believe that Brisbane put in some new LED lights. It does look great in here tonight.
Oh, it looks really good. Yeah, no doubt.
So well done to the Brisbane Capitals and Trevor Lidston. Craig has it. He's double teamed, and he's going to get fouled. Going to call Anderson for that one with the hack. So Torrey Craig going to go to line for a couple shots. Gold Coast doing a great job here, Dan. I mean, we talked about it. It was a big halftime deficit, but gee, they're slowly cutting away at it. It's only it was at 30-31, I think it was.
Well, they're doing a much better job defensively. Brisbane aren't passing wherever they want. The first half, they just went pass, shot. Now they've got to work for everything, which is great. And offensively, the Gold Coast are playing much more structured basketball, which does two things. It gets them to the foul line, slows the game down, which helps the older players stay fresh, and it takes away Brisbane's transition, which is where their main strength is. So all these things put together is almost the blueprint how to compete with the Capitals. It's a shame they gave them a 30-point head start before they began doing it, but it's positive signs, and crazier things have happened. It's a 20-point game if these foul shots made. If you get it down to 12-13 at three-quarter time, who knows? Who knows what could happen?
20 points is the lead, so Gold Coast is definitely winning the third quarter with about 4:30 to go in the quarter itself. Brisbane also has a bit of foul trouble, so be interesting to see. Kopskis kicks it out. Windsor thought about the three there. Anderson has it now. Kopskis will fire a corner three. That's good. That's a big bucket there because Gold Coast was on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, they needed that one.
Who are they calling that one on?
That's on Kopsikis. Just Thalo Green, just a veteran, just walked into the paint, sealed up the smaller player. And might not have been a huge foul, but there was a little foul in there and they called it. And Brisbane are complaining after every call. They're frustrated.
I think there's a bit of action going on afterwards as well. So Green's going to go to the line for a couple shots. Kopskis, though, Dan, is having himself a pretty good game. I mean, he's back. He's now in the starting lineup after coming off the bench for a couple seasons. Coach, he's been playing under Coach Tarrant for quite a while now, and doing a really good job tonight.
Tonight's been one of the best games I've seen him play. Offensively, he's been solid, but I think defensively, he's been really, really good.
And Kopskis loses it on the way to the bucket. He's fouled, though. That's only 2 team fouls there for Gold Coast. Going to call it a shooting foul. So Kopskis going to go to the line for a couple of free throws. He's 2 of 2 for the night. Shooting foul. Hey, Regan. It's interesting.
Yeah, somehow I only caught the back end of that one, but hey, I guess if it was close enough to being picked up to go for the drive to the basket, he wasn't doing anything else but shooting, even if it was just on that last dribble. Why not?
I think if you're at home, you want that call. If this game was at the Gold Coast, maybe he's taken it out of bounds. Who knows?
Might be something to keep them a little bit, happy as well. Like, they've obviously got a little bit, antsy with the last couple of calls. So,
do the refs do that? Do officials make calls to keep players happy? So if I complain heaps, I expect some love maybe from time to time.
If it's a split 50-50 like that, where realistically the call could go either way, yeah, look, if it's going to ease a little bit of tension and, help you out later down the track, why not? I would, personally.
Oh, it's interesting. Oh, it's good.
Craig with another turnover there. Anderson winds up with it. Brisbane looking to push. Anderson finds Seb Windsor. Corner three is up, and that rattles home for Seb Windsor. They're going to call it a 2. Gold Coast desperate for a charge call. They want at least one.
And one.
Green with the bucket and the foul going right at young Jake Davis. Finishing strong over him.
Taylor's given us a throwback tonight. How's he looking?
Let's see what Thalo Green's numbers are for the night. Playing big minutes too, 20 minutes. He's got 13 and 9. Well, make it 15 and 9 now.
There you go, it's quality. Torrey Craig with 6 turnovers is probably just waiting for his help to get here, and Sean Gleason and this other American, because he's just got to create everything at the moment. It seems just being asked to do a little bit too much maybe. Oh, what's going on here?
They come in early. Referees called something. They're just trying to figure out what it is.
Jason thinks there's 2 shots when it was an M1. No one knows what's happening here. So that should be 2 points to Torrey Craig. team huddle. We'll figure it out. I think give Torrey Craig 2 points and
they're going to give the Gold Coast the ball, I think. He's just got a copper. Referee is going to take that one. But I don't know what they're going to do now.
Regan? Wouldn't you?
It's a tough situation, those ones, because the play had already been stopped and Torrey Craig had the ball underneath. Brisbane had stopped playing and he got the easy bucket. It's a really tough situation because either way you're going to disadvantage someone. So I think in this scenario, the way that Jason has gone and given the ball back to Gold Coast on the baseline and not carrying the basket, it's not ideal, but it's the best possible outcome.
Keeps everyone relatively happy.
Craig's going to fire a really deep three. That's too strong. Davis comes down with the board. Torrey Craig tonight from 3 is 2 of 8.
Well, they're all contested because he's been guarded so heavily. He's not getting the open looks that we saw him get during the NBL season. Every shot that he takes is a contested shot, which obviously makes it hard for anybody.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Davis goes at the defense and finishes. Really impressed again tonight by Jake Davis. He's having a pretty good game on the offensive end.
Well, this is what the normal Jake Davis performance should be. I expect him to do this all season long.
Good finish there by Torrey Craig. Nearly lost it, recovered, and finished. Just about 2 minutes to go. Seb Windsor going to try another corner three. That's off. Vale comes up with it. I like the pace, right? Flynn Cameron wanted a jet, and you see Coach Cameron telling him slow down.
Yeah.
Thalo Green again finishing through the contact and the foul.
They have no answer for Thalo in his beard. Hopefully he's not cramping up here. He might be. He might be cramping. Oh, come on, Thalo.
There's been a lot of contact inside there. He's done a lot of his damage from inside. But Green also had hit a couple of threes tonight. He's 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Princeton Onwis going to come back in with 4 fouls and under 2 minutes to go. It's an interesting substitution. I'm surprised. The team's up 22 points with 2 minutes in the third. And one of your key guys with 4 fouls checks back in.
Well, I don't think we know if this is a good move for another 2 or 3 minutes. If he picks up another foul here and he has to sit out, it makes it look like a bad substitution. But if he can stay out of foul trouble, stay on the floor and stop this lead getting below 20, then it probably makes sense.
Anderson hit the deck hard there. Scotty McGregor with the veteran foul. Going to make Anderson earn his points from the free throw line.
The veteran foul, that's a perfect way of describing what just happened, I think. The Gold Coast have done an amazing job to get this back to 20 points, but they just can't get it any lower than that. So make Anderson work for his points, and hopefully he can give you a miss or two. Gives you a chance to get it back into the teens heading into three-quarter time.
Zach Bourne checked back in for the Gold Coast. Thalo Green having himself a game tonight. He earned himself a breather. Leading the way. I think he's the top scorer for the Gold Coast tonight.
He would easily be, I think. He'd have 20 and 10 at three-quarter time. It's a fantastic game.
Anderson hits them both. Anderson now guarding Craig. Big size advantage there for Torrey Craig.
Oh, my.
Then Flynn Cameron throws it away. Just a miscommunication there between him and Zach Bourne.
And Perro's having none of it.
Goes right back to Adam Dara.
Right
And
back to Thalo, too.
Thalo Green going to check back in as well. Who's he giving a breather to? Zach Bourne going to check out. Coach Cameron going to draw back up on the board for the boys. Make sure they get it right next time. Backcourt violation.
I think that's Princeton on this, not knowing the Aussie rules. He threw it into the backcourt, which you can do in the States off an inbound pass like that. But here you can't do it. Now he knows.
Best way to learn, right?
Absolutely.
You make the mistake, you won't make it again. Dwayne Vale looking to create top of the key. Seb Windsor going to get it called again for the foul. Windsor wants to know what he did wrong. What do you think? Block and foul, right?
I thought it was a pretty obvious foul.
A bit over aggressive.
Plenty of contact, definitely. And the Gold Coast are just hanging around, getting to the foul line, but again, this lead just stays at 20 points. It's tough, but this quarter they've done a lot better than the first half, obviously.
Vale misses the first, but hit the second. (76-55) the lead here for Brisbane over the Gold Coast. We've got about a minute to go. Kopskis goes inside for Windsor. Now Anderson pump fake, then Jimmy, it's off. Craig with the D-board. Good ball movement here. Craig kicks it to Dara. Corner three is up and good.
Torrey Craig again making the extra pass. It's just like, give him credit. He could easily come out and take those shots, but that's going to help his team in the long run.
Yeah, it's only an 18-point lead, 76-58.
Well, stopping a score, get it to 15 or 16. You're a chance going into the fourth quarter.
Anderson in the corner with Craig on him. Spin move, gets
brave.
around him,
but
he turns it over. Good defense. Good
defense.
Contact.
I'm glad that's a no call. It could have been a foul, what we've seen, but I'm glad that was a no call. Yeah, good D.
Craig just wants to clear out. He's going to hold for the last shot. He's guarded closely by Aaron Anderson.
They're doubling him already almost.
4 now. He's going to settle for the deep three that rolls in and out.
Come on now.
Vale picks it up. He fires. That's no good. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. 76-58. We head into the fourth quarter, Dan. What do you think of that third quarter performance? Gold Coast has cut it from 30 to 18.
That was the style of ball that I wanted to see right from the tip. The Gold Coast asserted their style of hoop on that quarter. They slowed it down. They got to the foul line. They took away a lot of Brisbane's easy buckets. The ball reversals weren't going as easily as they were in the first half. That's what I expected from the start. So give them credit for making the adjustment. We'll see if they can make this a game tonight. The first few minutes will tell us that of this fourth quarter. But if they can know that that's their style they got to play with this older team, grind it out, add another American, add Sean Gleason, they're going to be about the mark as well. From Brisbane's point of view, let's see what they can do. Our easy hoops have been taken away. What can we go to? In the half court, people are going to grind us out. What can we go to when we really need a bucket? And that's been their deficiency in the last couple of years, I think. In transition, when we're freestyling, we look amazing. Teams slow us down. What do we go to when we need to score? Do we get Princeton on the block? Do we get Dusty in a pick and roll with Aaron Anderson? What do we do? I think that's what they're going to have to come up with now.
All right, well, it is the quarter time break, so we'll take a quick one. We'll come back with fourth quarter action here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Live Sport Australia via Nothing But Net Media.
Hi, my name is Jade and I play basketball for Queensland.
Well, some of the great things about the Aussie Hoops program would be the younger kids, developing their skills at lower ages.
The thing I love about playing basketball would be working as a team. I also love the energy and the atmosphere basketball has.
Favourite training session of the week would be my club training. It's more involved than just individual sessions.
If a kid approached me about playing basketball for the first time, I would definitely tell them about how much fun it is. Basketball's a game for everyone and it's also an all year round sport.
It doesn't matter what shape or size we are, give basketball a go.
Welcome back to NAB Stadium here in Auchenflower. We're heading for the fourth quarter with the Brisbane Capitals up 76-58 over the Gold Coast Rollers. Taking a look at some of those out-of-town scores, and we got some finals. I think we mentioned it to you before. Ipswich beat Toowoomba 83-80. The Brisbane Spartans made a successful return with the sweep. Both women and men won their matchup 75-58. We're underway here from NAB Stadium. Looks like it's a tight one up at the Sunny Coast as the Rip and Sunshine Coast Clippers doing battle.
At the end of that quarter, just looking at the way these stats have played out, the Gold Coast are crushing Brisbane on the boards, 40-28, but they've got 21 turnovers to Brisbane 7. They just negate some of that great work, but like we said at the top of the fourth quarter before we went to the break, they're just playing such a better style of hoop right now. Let's see what they come out with to start this quarter.
Yeah, we see Princeton Onwas being aggressive here early, trying to get into the paint. We've seen him be successful. He had a quiet third quarter. That's due to that foul trouble.
Yeah, it is. His first half was sensational. And like you said, the foul trouble made him sit out a lot of that third quarter. So he's got to be smart now playing with 4 fouls. But if he can come back in and have a bit of an influence, should see Brisbane home comfortably tonight. But time will tell, John.
Yeah, how about this game up at the Sunshine Coast? 75-72 with 25 seconds to go. The Rip over the Clippers. Onwas goes 1 of 2. So 77-58 the lead here for Brisbane. Better ball movement, but Onwas comes up with a great steal along the baseline. Windsor pushing the ball for Brisbane. Finds Anderson. Kopsikas open, steps into the 3. That's wet from Anthony Kopsikas. He's having a game. Phalo Green again. That's got to be his 3rd or 4th and one. Just putting the ball on the deck this time. He's a lefty. Maybe they haven't picked that up yet, that he's going to his left every time.
Phalo, he's got 19 and 9. He's 3 of 9 from the foul line. This could be a 25-point game for him if he was shooting a little bit better. He's playing so well. It's great to see.
And he completes the 3-point play again. So lead is 19 for Brisbane. I think Coach Tarrant is going to want to see his team put the hammer down on these guys. Good foul.
Yeah.
Great foul there by Green on Onwas.
And that's an example of what we said earlier. What do we do when we need a hoop in the half court? They've got Dusty Flash into the high post in what looked like a set play, a quick give and go for a layup. That's the kind of thing we like to see. It's an adjustment they made. They drew it up. They executed it. Give them credit.
Yeah, great job there. And Onwas going to go again for a couple free throws. He hits the first one. Guys, don't forget, this is being brought to you by Live Sport Australia. If you haven't done so already, please visit the Live Sport Australia Facebook page and give us a like so you can keep up to date with all the happenings in the QBL, in the Big V, and all across Australian basketball. Onwas again, hits them both. They just continue to shade 2 at least towards Torrey Craig every time he touches it, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But the adjustment has been these other Gold Coast players are now looking to score themselves, which is great. That's
a great pass and a great finish there by Vale off a great look by Zach Bourne.
He enjoyed it too, didn't he, Dwayne? Gave a nice fist pump. Got himself an easy bucket.
Yeah, I mean, it's still it's a 19-point game, but we've got 8:30 to go in the game.
The Gold Coast need to string a few stops together. Their offense looks so much better. If they can get a couple of stops in a row, get this down to a 12, 13-point game, anything can happen. Brisbane start to tighten up. The crowd gets nervous. Just need to play some D here and get some stops.
That game has gone final up on the Sunshine Coast. It was 78-75. The University of Sunshine Coast Rip over the Sunshine Coast Clippers. No, it says Phoenix on the scoreboard, but I've been told it's Clippers as Craig fires a three. That's off. There's a foul by Vale on a streaking Jake Davis. No intent in that one. He was just going for the steal, and a couple of young kids got to experience Jake Davis
up close and personal.
Jinx.
That's a smart foul, too. Took away any transition that they might have had.
And Davis, we know, we've seen him throw down a few. He's capable. He could have put the hammer down on that one. Onwis going to fire that three. It's good. One thing we know for sure with the Brisbane Capitals, they're not going to hesitate to shoot. They don't care what the score is. Craig gets the bucket and the foul.
I think that's 5 fouls on the Fresh Prince.
And that was hip to hip there. I think Torrey Craig did a good job kind of stepping around it and getting that hip to hip action. If it was flush on, I reckon they would have given him the charge. Onwis was definitely there. It was just the
angle of it.
And as a referee, Regan, if you can correct this for me, does the charge call have to be front on?
Yeah, it has to be on the front of the body. It doesn't necessarily have to be down the center of the chest, but if you're facing side on, it's not good defense. So it goes back to those key 3 things from when, from biddy ball basically. You've got to be feet first and facing in order for it to be that charge.
Thank you for clarifying it. That Regan not only does camera work, but he's our resident referee in charge as well. So Craig's going to, they credited him with the bucket, and he's going to go to the line for a couple shots. Excuse me, 1 shot. And it's good. 85-67 the score here at Auchenflower. Brisbane in control of things here, up 18. They'll still, first game of the season though, Coach Tarrant's going to want his troops to finish it strong. There's Dara, veteran play, slowing things down, letting his guys get set. It's interesting, this is almost a matchup zone here from Coach Tarrant. Dara's shot looked like it was tipped by Kopskas, and then Bourne throws it out of bounds.
He's got to be careful. Come on, dude. You can't put your hand on his hip. He's got to be careful not to get in foul trouble, or else the Gold Coast comeback is over.
Yeah, that's Torrey Craig's 4th personal foul.
Perro was telling him to come out, get Taylor in, but Torrey Craig turned around and said, "Yo, I'm okay. Leave me in." So that's what you want him to say.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for one of his teammates, Taylor's still coming in, but.
Yeah, Zach Bourne going to take a seat on the bench.
Sacrificial lamb coming out.
Well, we got the Princeton Onwis hammer. I'm still waiting for the Torrey Craig hammer.
We need at least one. That's what we came to see.
Davis catch and shoot 3 is off. He shoots the air ball there. A little too excited there, Jake Davis.
Well, that's where he needs to come off. Shot fake, get on the rim. Work 1 dribble pull up.
Oh, they got Torrey Craig with his 5th foul. That's an offensive foul. Seb Windsor picking up the charge as Torrey Craig spun into the paint.
Get him to dunk it on the way off right now, because we're not going to see any Torrey Craig hammers tonight.
That's his 5th personal. He's done for the night. Torrey Craig not happy with the call. Let's see what he's going to finish up with. Stat sheet wise, Torrey Craig's going to walk off with 24 points. Let's see what else he's got. Just pulling up the stats now. 24 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, 6 turnovers, 2 blocks. 2 of 10 from 3 though. Oh, and then Kopskas picks up the foul as Val gets set, and Kopskas pushes off.
And it's Kopsakis' fifth foul too. That was a comedy of errors the last couple of possessions.
Kopskis has fouled out as well. A lot of talk between Vale and Kopskis. Vale, after the foul call, got up and got in Kopskis' ear. Kopskis isn't going to take it. He's going to give it back. That's a shame because Kopskis, to me, you said it before, he's had one of his best games I've seen him have for a long time tonight. Did a great job on Torrey Craig. I mean, Craig finished with 24, but how about those 8 turnovers? Kopskis was involved in a lot of that.
Well, like we said before, 24 points, but he had to take 17 shots to get there. If you're going to make him shoot 41% from the field and 20% from three-point line for his 20 points, you've done a great job.
And credit Kopskis and the Brisbane Capitals for doing that great job. Patton Kroger can't finish. Fight for the rebound, goes out of bounds off Thalo Green. Carter back in. He's also got 4. Good give and go. Carter finishes off the pass from Dusty Reichart. Dara, corner 3. That's no good. Anderson saves it from going out of bounds, and Carter recovers. Great no-look pass to a wide-open Dusty Reichart from Zach Carter. And Perro Cameron's going to take a timeout. He's not happy with his troops. With that timeout on the floor, we'll take one as well. It's 89-67 the lead here for the Brisbane Capitals with just under 6 minutes to go in the game. You're watching QBL basketball presented to you by Live Sport Australia, being nothing but net media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower with the Brisbane Capitals up 89-67 over the Gold Coast Rollers. It's getting a bit chippy. Things have kind of got a bit sloppy here in this last 2 or 3 minutes, Dan.
Yeah, it definitely has. And that's not a good or a bad thing, I don't think. It's just the way that this game seems to have gone, but hopefully it doesn't escalate to anything more than just a little bit of chippiness and a bit of talk. All the starters are still out there for another minute or two, I would guess, so hopefully we see some good basketball, and then we might see the benches emptied and get everyone a run. Some of these kids get a chance to play some minutes, given that this game's pretty much over at this stage.
Dara's baseline jumper is a bit too strong. It's tipped around out of bounds off Scott McGregor, so Brisbane has possession. Coach Tarrant giving the refs an earful. Referee's giving them a warning. Told them that's enough, so you expect the T coming next time Jeff gets in their ear.
Wow.
Davis throws up a wild one. They're going to call him for the offensive foul as he just got out of control there.
You're right, and that's where the next step in his game's got to come in. He either shoots a deep 3 or he's trying to lay it up. Mate, just take 1-2 dribbles, pull up on a dime and shoot a little 12-footer. That's got to be the next step that he takes in his game personally. But, anyway, he's had a couple of years now. I would hope that's the next step he can take. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him. He can get aggressive, a bit over-aggressive on that sense. I do like it though. He's putting the ball on the deck. We've seen him put it on the deck a lot more tonight.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Flynn Cameron uses a pump fake. Gets it to Green. Green goes inside. McGregor dumps it inside for Vale. Vale's going to finish and the foul. And he's going to go to the line for a three-point play. Again, just a lot of chippy, a lot of little soft, not soft fouls. I mean, they're definitely fouls. But yeah, you got to like the fight out of the Gold Coast here. They're keeping going, not giving in.
Well, if you take out the first quarter and a half, the style they've played has actually been really good. It's just kept this game at a 20-point game where at halftime, what was it, 35, I think?
Yep.
Something like that. We thought this game was going to be ugly, but to keep it to 20 has been a credit to them. They've definitely won this half, but just a little bit too late, unfortunately.
It was a 31-point lead at the half. So battling back to be down 19 as Davis fires that deep three. That's off. Vale comes down with it. Coach Tarrant going to take a timeout on the floor. You got to imagine he's not happy with his troops calling that timeout. Probably that Davis deep three there put him over the edge.
Well, I've had a turnover and then a deep three. I don't know. I think they teeter on the edge of just having complete freedom in the ultimate green light, but also he's got a structure that he does want them to play in, and they're obviously getting away from that at the moment. And you're going to win 19-point game. You'd have to fall over and really do a great job of trying to lose this game from here, which they're not going to. But you don't want them to fall over the finish line staggering either. You want to put on a good show. People have paid money to come and watch. You want to give them a quality performance right to the end, and they've definitely slipped a little bit. And he's probably telling them, let's get back on track. Let's play the way we want to play. Let's establish our culture for the season ahead, because it's going to be a long season, hopefully another successful one for them. Yeah,
taking a look at some of the statistics for Brisbane. Overall, they're shooting 45% from the field, 42% from three, and they're doing a good job at the line, 11 of 14 from the charity stripe. Look at that turnover number, though, Dan. It definitely has increased to 10. So you saw at halftime, I think they had 2. So that definitely has helped Gold Coast to get back into this game, or at least as far back as they've come.
I just want to talk just one more time about the Fresh Prince here who's come out in his first game, and he was really impressive to me. He shoots the ball better than I expected him to, and he plays really great defense. So I think he is going to take Brisbane from all the players they've lost, looking at maybe a middle-of-the-road type team, maybe in the bottom half of the top 8, to potentially being a challenger again. He to me, has been really impressive tonight.
Yeah, definitely can handle the ball, can shoot. We've seen him finish at the rim, and as you said, did a good job defensively. Unfortunately, he fouled out, and let's hope that doesn't become a pattern for him, because Capitals are definitely going to need him on the floor.
Well, he'll get used to how the games are officiated. Hopefully they're officiated the same way each week, so he can make the adjustment. But I think any American that comes out here, or even any American that comes from a different league, Torrey Craig's the same. They're going to have to adjust how the QBL's officiated. And they'll make the adjustment in a week or two. They'll be acclimatized and hopefully out of foul trouble.
And Dwayne Vale picked up a foul there. On Zach, he fouled Zach Carter. That's the 15th foul for Gold Coast. So Carter's going to go to the line for a couple of shots. Can the Gold Coast, though, now that we know that they have that other import to come, they still have Sean Gleason. Where do you see them in the top 5? Because one of the things that we said in our podcast, because we didn't know what the roster was, we didn't know if they were going to be contenders. Do you see them as contenders?
Good question. Not at this stage. It depends how good this other American is. He looks like a big. I think they need more help in the backcourt. Sean Gleason will help a little bit, but I think Adam Dara is a 15-minute a game backup at best at this stage in his career. So unless they get some more backcourt help, I don't think they're going to be contenders, no. Or unless young Cameron can come on and really excel and play big minutes as well. But that's my take on it from tonight.
Rykard looks inside for Anderson. I mean, the competition is so tight. I still do think that you just don't know what's going to happen on any given night.
I agree.
Now that they move to this format, it's the top 8 teams. You get on a decent little roll and you win a few games in a row, and next thing you know, you're in contention for a final spot. Carter's got to force one up there. Dara's 3 is off. Thalo Green with the steal.
Thalo's doing it all, Johnny.
He's got to be the player of the game. for the Gold Coast at least. Coach Tarrant not happy with his troops. They're playing a bit, they're getting a bit sloppy here, so he's going to take another timeout. Not happy with the way his team finishes. You got to, I respect that. I think you got to do those things. If you have championship aspirations, you need to be able to finish games and finish games strong. This game should have been over with. It shouldn't be a 17-point game at this point.
There's no doubt about it. And 3 minutes is not a long time, but it's long enough that 17's not enough of a margin. So I agree. You have to set a culture. No matter they've got the 12th player on the court or the best player on the court, they want to play the same way every time. And they've definitely slipped the last 4 or 5 minutes. So a good timeout, I agree.
We'll keep things here. Let's take a look at the statistics. We mentioned the Brisbane Capitals. Princeton Onwas finished with 24 points. He shot 40% from 2. He hit 4 of 6 threes, and also 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals also. You look at the Gold Coast, and they struggle from the field, only shooting 40%, 56% from 2, but only 24% from 3. They shot 33s. They don't have guys that really, guys can hit threes, but they're not great three-point shooters. To settle for 29, shoot 33s,
yeah.
I don't think that's what Coach Cameron would have planned coming into tonight.
Torrey Craig shooting 10, I don't think that's his game either. Who knows, maybe it is. I don't think it is, though, in my opinion. I think their game is work it through hands, get through sets, kick it out, take an open 3. Of those 30 they've taken, half of them have been contested. I don't think that's their recipe for success at all this season.
And Coach Tarrant's going to go to the bench. Andrew Oleknowitz is checked in. He's in the face garb, obviously has some kind of facial injury. Carter is going to fire a deep 3. That's strong. Flynn Cameron has it stolen by Oleknowitz, who kicks it back out. Good hustle there by Zach Carter. He's hurt himself, though. And Thalo Green also down. Both guys down. And then there's a timeout on the floor. Referee, I don't know if they're going to call a foul here, but Carter's down, and he's not well, guys.
He's been sniped.
I think he and Thalo Green knocked knees. Thalo Green's up and walking it off, but Zach Carter's down face first, and he's not getting back up.
We might need a stretcher here, Johnny.
Well, let's hope Zach Carter is okay. I understand that he's going to be getting married soon, so let's.
I think he might have got married last week.
Has he gotten married
so.
already?
I think
All
he was
right.
away, somewhere in the Cook Islands.
Well, let's hope he's okay.
He'll be fine.
He's still down on the floor. Looks like he's moving now, which is good.
Maybe we've got a Paul Pierce wheelchair moment coming up, Johnny. Reel him out and let him come back in to take a couple of shots at the end.
He's up, thank goodness. Not very comfortable, though, so good to see Carter get back up and able to walk off on his own. But, guys, don't forget, we'll be bringing you a doubleheader each and every week here from the QBL. Next week, we've got the Toowoomba Mountaineers visiting the Logan Thunder on Friday night. The women's game will be up first. That game starts at 6 p.m., and then it'll be followed by the men shortly after that around 8 p.m. So tune in live again next week to Live Sport Australia and Nothing But Net Media. We'll be bringing you that Toowoomba Mountaineers matchup with the Logan Thunder next Friday night. Got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the game. It's 91-74. Coach Tarrant wants his team to finish strong. Good pass there. Patton Croker, pull-up jump shot is up and good. He just beats the buzzer. Here's a bit of pressure from Gold Coast. There's the trap. Anderson tries to spin out of it. Are they going to call the foul? They are going to call it on Flynn Cameron. Now Anderson a little shaken up. That's the second or third big flop big hit he's taken. I shouldn't say flop, but it's the sound. He's hit the deck hard a couple times tonight. Reichart going right at the D. Bourne's going to get called for the reach-in.
I think both coaches need to be careful. It's been a bit chippy. We've seen Phalo go down with Zach Carter. Aaron Anderson went down. No one's injured, luckily. The game's probably over. Man, put the kids on, get your studs off. Let's not risk Dusty Reichart or Aaron Anderson picking up a real injury here in the last few minutes, or Phalo. You don't want them getting hurt. It's been a pretty competitive second half. Lots of good basketball to watch, but man, get these kids on, let them get some taste of QBL action, and look after your studs. Ice them up for next week.
Yeah, if we look ahead to next week, the Gold Coast Rollers are at home on Saturday versus the Ipswich Force. And the Capitals are going to travel up the coast. They're going to visit the Sunshine Coast Clippers also on Saturday night. Rare double miss from Dusty Reichart on free throws. Vale's going to fire the three. That is going to rattle home. So Gold Coast finishing strong here. They're only down 12, Dan.
Well, they're going to finish the game. Well, 12 points is still winnable. So maybe I'm wrong. Don't take the studs off yet and lose. But
Anderson misses the three.
This was a 30-point game at halftime, Johnny.
Hey, you take away that first quarter, and Gold Coast pretty much won the game. Vale's going to fire another three. That's off.
That would have been a big make if he had to knock that down. The impressive thing is this comeback has been, well, Brisbane's best players have been on. Les Princeton, he's obviously a massive out, but Torrey Craig's been sitting down the whole time.
Yeah, it's coming a little bit too late, though, as we're now under a minute to go in the game. Dara's going to fire away. Reichart comes up with it.
Those are two big misses. One of those goes down from Dara or Bale. Got himself a 9-point game.
Well, that's going to pretty much wrap things up. I think, it was kind of over at halftime. Dara's going to get called for the foul.
Yeah.
But you got to give Gold Coast all the credit. I think, there are some promising signs for them. I think, Torrey Craig didn't have his greatest night. Still finished with 24 points. We see he's not selfish. He's definitely looking to get his teammates involved. You see the import going to get cleared. He should be. The visa got cleared today, so he should be okay to play next week.
Yep.
And Sean Gleason, those are two you'd think pretty handy weapons.
No doubt.
And then you bump a couple of these guys down to the bench. Gold Coast might surprise some people.
No doubt. I think health is the main thing for them. If a Thalo gets hurt or Scotty McGregor gets hurt, that's a huge chunk out. If they can stay healthy, I think you're right. They've shown enough tonight to say that if this American's good, and Torrey Craig we know is good, Sean Gleason's solid, they've got enough pieces to make a run, definitely.
And I know for a fact Coach Tarrant is not going to be happy about letting these guys back into the game. But you got to expect he'd be happy getting the win. And they were very impressive. I thought they were really good tonight. I think they let the foot off the pedal about 3 to 4 minutes into the second half. But overall, I thought the Caps were pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think they played the style that they wanted to play for the most part, especially in that first half. There's lots of positives. Man, the season's long. It's a marathon.
Aleknowitz with a great steal up ahead to Brenton Mackey.
Oh, anything could happen here, Johnny. Oh.
Good pass inside. Reichardt's going to finish in the foul.
That's a big to big fast break. Put it on the highlight.
How about that? You're not going to see that too often, are you?
Maybe never again.
Mackey might have gotten away with a bit of a travel there.
I'm sure he did. I think the refs are trying to get this game over with. It's taken forever. So the odd travel, just let it go.
And then Dusty Reichart finishes the three-point play. Can we get triple digits, Dan?
No.
Good skip pass. Morris going to fire the three. That's good. I'm going to call it a 2. I thought that was 3. Jays Morris, though, on the score sheet. Davis has it. It's nearly stolen by Flynn Cameron. They're going to call a foul, though. It's going to send Jake Davis to the line for a couple shots.
Jeff, I love it. He's calling out to his team. Oh, 2-3, get in the zone. There is one possession left in this game. coaching right to the end, as always.
Always does. You gotta, and Davis going to go to the line for his first couple free throws of the night. Hits the first. Second one is good as well. So Jake Davis increased the lead to 17. Cameron's pass stolen there by Lachlan Venus. They're going to let the clock run out here as it's under 5 now.
Does Dusty want 100? Everyone gets a free cheeseburger? Oh, he let it go.
He let it go. So the final score here during the game, 98-81. Brisbane Capitals take over Auchenflower and destroy the Gold Coast Rollers. The final score is a 98-81. It's a 17-point lead, or excuse me, final score. But I think Gold Coast pretty much was out of it by halftime.
Yeah, the game was over. I tried to stand on my cord, Johnny.
Oh, damn, sorry.
I was trying to stand up, sorry, viewers, to get a better view of these post-match formalities. But, yeah, the game was over. And 17 points probably makes it look a lot closer than it was. I think Brisbane was clearly the dominant side tonight. But like we said a few times, they definitely had some weaknesses, which the Gold Coast were able to expose. But they also had a lot of positives. And for the Gold Coast, a couple of players coming in, they showed enough heart and enough structure in that second half that there are positives for them to look ahead to as well. Such a great even competition, potentially.
It's going to be awesome. I think if you have we'll take a look at some of the statistics for you, and you look at Brisbane, super well balanced. 6 guys in double figures. All 5 starters hit double digits, led by Princeton Onwas his 24 points. Zach Carter had 18, Aaron Anderson with 15, Anthony Kopskas had 14, Reichardt with 11, Jake Davis had 12. You look at it, they did a pretty good job on the glass as well. 12 offensive rebounds, 39 in total. But more importantly, they did the job on Torrey Craig. We'll take a quick look at the Gold Coast stats. And leading the way for Gold Coast again was Torrey Craig. Craig finished with 24 points. Then you had Thalo Green with 20. He had his double-double, 20 and 11. Also had 3 assists and 2 steals. Double digits for Adam Dower with 13, and Dwayne Vale finished with 12. But overall, pretty impressive performance for Brisbane. 98-81 the final score. Dan, your final thoughts before we finish things off?
Well, I'm probably repeating myself, but I think Brisbane showed why they've been in the finals the last couple of years, and the losses of personnel they've had, I think, are more than made up by one player, and that's Princeton. I think he did a really good job. Looks like the real deal. He's going to be a pretty big handful for most teams in the QBL each week, and he had the points he had in 21 or 22 minutes because of foul trouble. If he plays 30 minutes, who knows what he can do. But for the Gold Coast, I thought the first half was incredibly disappointing. They just seemed to lack any structure on offense and on defense. Ian Healy's in the crowd. That's fantastic to see. Australian cricketing royalty coming down supporting the QBL. But the second half of the Gold Coast Rollers, to get myself back on track, was great. They played the style of ball that I wanted them to play, or I would have expected them to play from the start. Slow it down, grind it out, structured, take away Brisbane's easy stuff, and they looked really good. And if they bring those guys in, it's a good league, let's just say that. Every team's going to be competitive week in and week out. And both these teams should look ahead to quality seasons.
Yeah, well, don't forget next week we also will be live on Friday night. We've got the Toowoomba Mountaineers taking on the Logan Thunder. That's on Friday night. Girls tip at 6, men at 8. That'll be live for you on Live Sport Australia. Presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. I got to thank Regan Baker on the camera, also on the referee tip for us. I got to thank my broadcast partner, Dan George. I also have to thank James Bowman on the production panel. I'm John Guana. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you again next week here for QBL Basketball on Live Sport Australia.